Look who's back today. Winter might think it's back, but we all know it's not here to stay. Since all the chicks are sold, I'm ready to set this up for our turkeys. I am really excited about this, and I've got more chicks hatching, so I set up my brooder boxes, my little ones, ready for those guys to go. I have found around here that there is a distinct cutoff time from where chicks sell and when they don't, and it seems like I get stuck with a whole bunch of extra chicks late spring and I'm scrambling. So I like to have them hatching when they go pretty quickly so I don't have to worry about, oh no, what have I done? How many chicks am I going to have this year? Here come the next ones hatching. So far there are quite a few Brahmas out, but I'm waiting on everybody else. They're looking cute. In the hatching box back there, I have olive eggers, and I have quite a few eggs that haven't hatched, and they're due to, so I'm a little starting to freak out about how many eggs aren't hatching. But I do see there are pips in there. I do see an olive egger pipped in the hatching box. So for whatever reason, these guys are just a little bit slow, but it looks like they're catching up. So this is our brooder box, and it is probably maybe, what, 4 or 5 feet by maybe 3 feet. And this came from my husband's work. It used to have a cool wooden lid, but I don't need that. So it works perfect for brooding. I love this thing. And I'm going to use it for turkeys. We will move them in probably a week or two. We just don't have the other garage pen set up yet. So they'll do fine in here. I don't like to use the heat plate with my poults, but you certainly can. I just don't have as much experience with them and like to keep a closer eye on what they're doing. So I'm using a 250 watt red bulb. You can find lower wattage ones. I have them. I think they're 75 or maybe 150, but it's still pretty chilly out here, so I want to make sure that it's warm enough. And I have my chain and everything else. This cool hook right on the side of there so you can adjust and hang heat lamp. And I've got a thermometer, so I'm going to check it. You want it to be just like chicks. You want it to be around, 95, 100, but you want to have plenty of room that they can get away from that heat if they need to. You don't want to cook them out. And it is 2 days before the turkeys are supposed to come, and I want to make sure I have this ready to go well before the turkeys are rolling into it, and I'm realizing that I have no idea where the heat should be. So I want to check it out now so I'm prepared and have everything ready to put their food and water in. Does anybody know what this is? My husband made this. Pretty cool, isn't it? There's a link to his channel up there in the corner. He does some really neat stuff like this all the time. Okay, today's thrifty tip is some ways you can save on your groceries. I don't know about you, we have struggled for years trying to feed, we had teenagers or all of our kids were home, trying to make that grocery budget work on one income. So I'm sure all of you have many tips too that you can add to this. So I'd love to hear them in the comments. But I have a few simple ones. Let me share them with you. Okay, this week's thrifty tip is how to save some money on your groceries. Grocery spending is going to vary depending on all sorts of factors. How much your income is, how many people are in your family, if you have kids at home, if you have teenagers at home. Doesn't matter. If you do a few simple things, you can trim down what you're spending relative to what it is for you. So a few things that I like to do, I'm going to share with you today. And the first is have a budget. And that doesn't mean you just kind of know what you spend on groceries. I mean, you're doing a actual budget with your income and your expenses, and you have a number that you need to spend. Because I don't know about you, if I go into the grocery store with no budget, the sky's the limit. I can justify whatever I spend. So have a budget. Number 2, make a menu. I do this usually a month in advance, and that way there's no surprises. It doesn't mean that I always go by it, but I do have a plan in place based on what I have already hanging around, so I can use that and keep my groceries turning over, but I have a menu so I know. So when I sit down to make my list to go to the grocery store, It's pretty easy, and I just know what I need. I can check, and what ingredients do I need to make. The third tip is do have some plan in place that you can make sure that you're not over your budget. I happen to use a spreadsheet where I have just a list and a cost of everything that I buy, and I can just fill it in. If I know I need dog food and I know I need milk and, you know, all my usual things, I have a rough estimate of what it costs at the store because I buy it all the time, and I can know that I'm within that budget. If you just go with a list having no idea what any of that costs, it's going to be really hard to stay within the budget that you have. And the other benefit to that is if I finish my grocery list and I see that the total on that is $400 and I really wanted to spend $75 this week, I know I need to go back, and maybe we're not having T-bone steak 3 times next week and then, you know, roast turkey the other day that I'm buying at the store. Maybe we're going to have something a lot cheaper, rice and beans or something. So I hope this helps you. I'd love to hear some of your tips on how you save groceries, because there are so many that you certainly couldn't do it in 1 minute or one video, let alone 1 minute.